Welcome back to another Share Your Light episode. I absolutely love doing these because it gives us the opportunity to share members of our listening audience who are doing amazing things, who are raising the vibration, who are sharing their light and what they really are passionate about with the rest of the world. And today I'm really grateful and happy to introduce you to Julie. Julie is a psychic medium intuitive. She's certified in medical intuition and family constellation therapy. She has also taken advanced psychic and mediumship courses, as well as trained with a shaman teaching her how to journey to the other worlds. Her intention for her practice is to help people heal. They come to her with a variety of issues. Some clients need help with relationships that aren't flowing, money and career issues, and health-related problems. Her dream is for all clients to ultimately know they can live in joy and that life can be easier than it was yesterday. Julie is originally from Michigan, now resides in northern Indiana with her husband and dog Birdie. Julie and her husband are a blended family with 5 children, 3 grandchildren, and 1 on the way on Christmas Day. Welcome, Julie. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you, Denise. I'm so honored to do this with you.
One of the reasons I love your work. You're an amazing medium and intuitive. You've been doing this for many years, and now you're ready to kind of open the doors and say, I'm ready to share this with a wider audience, which I love. This isn't, and I don't mean this judgy pie to anyone, but you're not fly by night. This isn't just like I took a weekend workshop and now I'm a medium. You really have done the work and put the time in for this. So thank you. The other thing is your wealth of knowledge with the family constellation therapy, which I think with so many people struggling with how to release trauma, ancestral healing. Could you just chat about how you got into that and how it works for you?
Yes, absolutely. I was listening to a YouTube channel with Kelly White and James Van Prague. And Kelly, when she was doing the show just by herself, had a guest on called Carrie Gonia explaining family constellation therapy. Well, I scheduled a session with Kelly. I was curious on her gifts. And at the end, she told me, please schedule a session with Carrie. This is going to help you with your mother wounds, with your family issues. So I did. And then Carrie and I formed a relationship after the session I had with her. We really clicked. I found the session to be one of the most profound experiences of my life. I could not believe within 2 hours, I could shift so dramatically on my issues with my parents. And then I proceeded to take a course from her. And so it was a year-long family constellation course. To this day, I'm constantly learning. But when I experienced the transformation with my clients and how quickly they can move on from their trauma, I knew I had to do this work and to try my little bit in this world to try to help at least one other human being from not carrying their trauma.
And that's huge. That is exactly again, sounds judgy, but it's not. I think that's the point. It's service work. It's how can I help other people, even if it's only one person, because that's going to cause a ripple effect. That's going to impact, and it's going to really shift the generational things that we pass down or that we've been given. So do you feel like your other work has led up to the family constellation therapy? So your work with shamanic practices, with being a medium, because you have to be able to fluctuate and go to different realms with that work. And I don't think a lot of people are familiar with what's involved with family constellation therapy and how that would relate to other modalities.
Very much so. I think Spirit had a plan all along for the 15 years I was learning. They guided me from one modality to the next. And I could feel it. I would start getting bored. I would start getting curious about other, like, for example, when I was studying with the medical intuitive, she mentored me for over a year and a half, really getting trusting my intuition. She really helped me. She would sit there and just push me. I took her course. I took her medical intuitive workshop. That was very profound. And then I kept seeing an animal sitting next to me. And she guided me to start working with a shaman. And the shaman work taught me how to journey. That work also led to meeting ancestors. When you do journey work, you start meeting your ancestors. And so with the family constellation, I can feel the grandmother coming forward for the client and asking to please put into the session what needs to be healed, even if the client isn't quite aware. And then a power animal coming forward to help in the session with the family constellation therapy. With all of my Reiki work, I have met my guides, and so I can feel their guides coming forward to help support them. So it's really using all of my tools, especially with family constellation therapy, to help the client in the most whole way.
But it feels like all of your work is about healing. Like if we had to give it one label, one little short label, you would stand under an umbrella that says healer on it.
Yes, I think that has been my purpose here. I really had no interest in any other way to help someone other than to help them heal so they can live a better life. I went through a big transition in 2007 with a divorce. And I saw such a difference after I started doing my healing work with a Reiki practitioner, such a difference in my life. Like I felt like I was now living a completely different life. And I wanted to help other people. As I learned that I can then help others, I wanted to help them know that these healing arts are very real and they work. So just give it a chance. Give it a chance. What do you have to lose for 2 hours to come and just hand over the ego for 2 hours and allow the spirit world to come in and help you heal?
And that's a really, really, really important point is I think if you're, how can I word this? To be able to truly benefit from this work, you would need to feel safe. You would need to feel safe with the person you're doing it with. And I know you on a personal level and on a professional level, and I know that you do that beautifully. You hold space for people and you allow them to feel that it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to relax and do that level of healing that may be even deeper than the person may be aware of. So if something has been passed down generationally, or that you've inherited, or that you've carried from lifetime to lifetime, there's a depth to that that you need to feel safe. And I don't know how else to word it, but is that an important component of what you're doing?
Thank you for that. I think the work can be very, very profound and can happen so quickly if you feel safe. The pandemic is it's taught practitioners how to work through Zoom, right? So most of my work is done through Zoom, face to face, but I can still feel their energy and I want them to feel mine, that I am only here to help them for their highest good. There is no other way to say it, that I want to work in the light. I want you to know that I am here to hold space for you, to surround you with light that you may not even know that is surrounding you, but to know that you would not find me unless you were supposed to. And so our connection is divinely orchestrated. Spirit has led you to me. Our vibrations will work with one another to help you heal what you need to heal. And this generational trauma business, it's not light. I mean, You're literally clear. You're the one. If you find this work, you're the one that said, you put a hand up and said, okay, I'll do it. And you're not only helping yourself, but you're helping your immediate family, and you're helping maybe your grandmother or great grandmother that are ready to come back in and don't want to carry the karma anymore. I work with a lot of women, and I'm seeing a lot of grandmas, great grandmas come to me. They're in the room saying, please free us from this. We brought her to you so we can be free and we can come back to earth free.
Well, I have thought about that so many times. I had a situation a few years back where my grandmother came through when I was doing a deep meditation. And when I reflected on it later, I realized that generation of strong, independent, capable, wonderful, and I'm going to make it about women because that's what we're talking about, but people in general, but women were restricted often with being able to fully speak their truth or make the choices they may have wanted to make because of society or culture or expectations. It doesn't make it wrong. It just makes it what it was. And now I feel like I agree with you more than you can know that many, many of us, especially those of us that are very sensitive, very empathic, very connected, and I don't mean that with ego in any way, shape, or form, we agreed to step up and say it ends with me. And that's exactly what you're talking about, is it's time. And it correlates with this shift of energy that the world is going through right now, because it has to end in order to get ready for what's coming. What I love is I agree that the stepping stones with what your mediumship work, your intuition, your medical intuition, all of that is going to be in your shamanic work is all collectively going to be used in this so that spirit can come to you and pick and choose which modality they need you to use with their person for healing.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing.
And I didn't understand it at the time. I went to a psychic. Probably, it's 2016. I had several sessions with her, but this one particular session, she said, you're supposed to be doing what I'm doing. Spirit is showing me you are a healer. And I went, oh, no. Oh, no. And she goes, okay, but you're going to be back one day. And when my website came out last month, I sent her a letter thanking her for trusting spirit and her gift, and for being brave for what she does every day, helping humanity, and for believing in me even when I had no clue what was coming. So it's interesting how I've learned along the way, just curiosity. I mean, I was a very curious kid. I knew when people were lying and when people wouldn't tell you the truth. And I knew who was on the phone when the phone was ringing, right? And that gets shut down as you're growing and developing, and then boom, it just burst wide open with my first Reiki session. From there, you just keep learning. I was very curious. So, and it will be interesting how the family constellation continues to develop. I'm taught one way, but I came into this with a different set of tools. So I think it's going to keep developing as humanity is healing. And then what's next? It's going to be very curious 10 years from now. What are the healers doing? What are we healing now? Because now generational trauma, like it's becoming, you're hearing it more and more. Mm-hmm. I heard it on the news the other day. Well, 5 years ago, I hadn't heard it at all, even though the books are out there, right? The practitioners are out there. They're saying this is very, very important.
And that's the key. That's the key. Get the hell out of the way. Let it come through you, not from you, and keep learning, keep growing, keep evolving. But the other part to this is that you're giving people the tool to step out of any sort of situation that they may feel that they don't have a choice, or that they've been a victim, or they've been, everything you're saying feels very empowering to me. It doesn't feel like it's enabling. It doesn't feel like it's, well, I would love to do that, but I can't because I'm the child of, or I'm the grandchild of, or I've had this situation. in my life. So, I'm damaged or I can't heal. There's never anything we can't come back from. I mean that with love and compassion, is that so many people have been, the very blunt version is hit behind the knees with a stick over and over again, trying to break them. And now you're saying it doesn't have to be that way. You can really step up and say, this is the life I'm choosing to live from this point on.
100%. And we don't know what spirit has in store for us, right? So I can promise you, the clients that are coming to me, they have a job to do here. They have a soul purpose, and spirit needs them healed so they can in turn help humanity in whatever way they're going to help, even if it's raising their children differently, reacting with their coworker differently, treating their animals differently. They're adding, as they heal, they add more light to the universe. And that's what we need. That all the healers know that there is a little light, dark battle going on, and we need more light. So as you heal, you can open up your energetic field to allow more light in, and all that does is spread more light. I truly believe, this is my belief, that God didn't give you a backpack when you were born and said, okay, now you have to carry generations worth of trauma that's going to affect your health and your mind, body, soul. That what our role is here is to learn, let it go, and then serve in our purpose. We all have a different purpose here. And it took me a long time to find mine. I had to make a really, really tough decision years ago. But as soon as I made it, I felt empowered. And then as soon as I took a course, I felt empowered. So I knew I was on the right path. I listened to enough podcasts. Thank goodness for Hay House. Hay House was one. I found it, through my computer one day doing laundry, going, what is this? It was all positive. It was all empowering. And Louise Hay, talk about being a brave soul.
Right.
She was definitely in service to humanity.
And I love that she didn't even start Hay House until she was 60. So all these excuses of it's too late, I'm too old. Oh, throw that out the window, because it's not true. It's never too late.
Right. I'm double nickel this year. What am I doing?
Oh, you haven't even hit your stride yet. You're fine. But another point, everything that you're saying, it just rings so true with this being service work for you. And I know I mentioned that a few minutes ago, but that's the key. That is the key. And we can help each other step up without it having to be about us and, hey, look at me. And I think that you're handling this, the way that you're speaking of this is what I'm seeing in my mind's eye is you reaching out and helping people stand up, like taking your hand and helping them get up and saying, we can do this together. We can find a way for you to heal so that you can enjoy your life more, have more fun, feel better physically, mentally, and spiritually. That's the whole point. It's wonderful.
Well, and I think I was born in the late 60s, and I personally owe my grandmothers that. I witnessed my grandmother's age and pass from a stroke and cancer, and they're in the room with me now. I felt them come in and they're like applauding me, and they weren't they were grandmothers of very traditional churches. They weren't grandmothers that believed in the healing arts. And I feel their support. That I have to do this. I've been shown that I have the ability to connect with spirit, to help people heal, and to live a more joyful life. And I wish my grandmothers could have had that. I wish my great-grandmother, I've learned a lot about my great-grandmother lately, because now my mother's starting to talk more about her trauma. And it's like the work I do with family constellation therapy, I do my own work. And as I do it, it's opening up my mother And maybe she can leave this world at the end of her days a little freer, a little
Oh,
lighter. And then I have daughters. I have a biological daughter and 3 stepdaughters, and I don't want them to have to go through the same issues that women of our generation had to deal with. I want them to be freer and lighter and not have to see the same diseases that you and I see. And as I get older, it's shocking how many people are leaving right now.
yes. Yes. And it's happening for many people very suddenly. They're getting a diagnosis or they're having a life situation that pivots very quickly. And it's a wake-up call for all of us to realize, make the most of it. There is no guarantee. Recently, I heard someone say, who's a grief coach and counselor, say, mortality is 100%. We're all going to get it. It's so truly making the most of it. And this feels like this is your opportunity to not only blend a lifetime of experience and as a mom, as a partner, as a professional, all these things, and say, how can I help you step up? How can I help change and shift things? Because I think that's what we all want. We want to make it easier, not in the sense of taking away pain or grief or loss, because that has to be part of it, but a way to find it in ourselves that we didn't cause a lot of the things that are in our life. They were given to us. We didn't do anything wrong. We didn't deserve it. And that's huge.
That's a huge point, too, because a lot of us carry shame and guilt, and we don't even know where it came from.
Right.
And fears that make no sense. Well, a lot of it is generational. You're carrying it, especially if you have ancestors that were in a war trauma. It's unbelievable how it's showing up in grandchildren. And you're carrying the trauma of your ancestors, and you didn't do anything to create that guilt or shame that you feel. Addiction shows up. So yes, let's release that from you and see how different life can shift for you. And let's get busy doing cool stuff while you're here on earth, because we're not getting out of here alive, right?
No. And that's the thing, is we're in these bodies for a reason. We're on this planet for a reason. And that's one of the things that I also love about you, is that you're very grounded. You're in your world. You have a life. This isn't all, as I'm fond of saying, airy fairy woo woo. You have to have the balance. You have to have that I'm in this body to move, to grow, to get grounded, to smell flowers, to eat delicious food, all of those things. And I think this work you're doing is allowing people to enjoy that more as well, without the restraints, self-imposed or otherwise, that have been around us most of our lives.
Right. Mother Earth has given us all of these bounties.
Mhm.
And for people to not see them because they're blocked, they have a block. And when we release that block, all of a sudden they're like, I went for a hike and it felt different. Because now they're feeling the energy from the trees and they're feeling the energy from the ground. Well, that right there, if you ask me, is a miracle. For you to understand the connection with earth and spirit. And I'm not negating religion at all. That can be
No.
a beautiful piece in your life for any culture that you are from. I think it's beautiful, especially when you come together in love and joy and celebrate together. Well, as you release those blocks, you're more apt to see the love than what your sister's doing that's annoying you. You're just more
True.
grounded. You can observe more. You can say, okay, that's not my circus. And it literally frees you.
So one of the things that is hugely prevalent right now is the need for community, the need to find like-minded people. And that is getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And you said something earlier that just touched my heart, is the people who are meant to find me will find me. And that is a huge statement to make, because that's how it works. There are so many people that are doing this work, but you're going to find the people that resonate with you, which leads to building community and feeling safe enough to step more fully into who you came here to be. So do you feel that when people have gone through the constellation therapy, obviously it changes their relationship with themselves and with their immediate family, but does it cause a wider impact do you find people are feeling more connected with their world in general after they do this work?
Most definitely, it creates a ripple effect, because when the very first session, we always start with the parents. It's just how it is. We start with the parents and maybe a brother or a sister that you are having concerns with. That ripple effect then helps the parents, whether they're in the spirit world or here, and it helps the sibling. And then it can help their outer relationships. It can help your friendships. And then if you shift and all of a sudden you're treating a friend differently, well, maybe then they turn and treat their spouse differently. And the light just expands. And that's what's important about this work, is I know you understand, and you've been such a beautiful mentor for me, is that the more we learn about the light and living in the light and healing in the light, there's this huge expansion, which you can call a ripple effect, right? And then
Right.
who knows how it's affecting the souls that haven't come in yet. So I have a grandchild that is due in December. Who knows, even the work that just I've done is affecting their soul to come in freer. I want to believe that that is happening, because this whole new generation of babies, they're different.
Oh, they're very different. They're
They're
incredibly different. And it's starting to hit the mainstream that they're different. I don't know if I saw a post the other day that this woman was a pediatrician, a grandmother, and the baby, a tiny, tiny, tiny baby, was rolling over on its own in like months and months and months ahead of developmental ability to be able to do that by most. And we're seeing that more and more, the focus, the developmental milestones, the old soul feeling, all of that stuff. It's pretty damn amazing. And I think so many of us that are doing this work that are in one way or another connected with these babies coming in, we have to do our work to be able to light the torch, to be able to help them fully emulate everything they came here to do, because they're here for the shift. We got it ready, but they're here for the big change.
They are, and they're little light workers. And
Yeah.
if parents don't do the work, they're going to help them along. They're going to keep pushing against it to the point where their parents are, if they're aware, right? It takes awareness and a desire to understand your children. There's always going to be that part of humanity that just really doesn't care. But I feel that we can choose to see the part of Earth, the part of experience on Earth that is positive. There is a lot of positive everyday occurrences that are happening that are full of joy. I choose to only follow people who work in the light. I very rarely watch the news, maybe just for the weather, just to make my experience here lighter than the first half. The first half, I had a hard time.
But I think that that's key in the work that you do, is that it gives you the level of empathy, compassion, and understanding that you wouldn't have if you hadn't been through that. So when you're working with these people doing this work in any modality, you know where they are because you've been there. And that is a huge, huge gift to these folks that you're able to work with, because it's not, you didn't just read about it in a book, you lived it. And that changes the game completely.
And I think that's pretty common in healers, don't you think? That we've
100%.
had a
Yes.
rough childhood, we've had rough marriages, we didn't honor ourselves, we had very little self-esteem, very little self-confidence. And that's okay, because I'm figuring it out. I'm still learning. And as I learn, I want to help other people learn and to empower them, especially this younger generation. You and I have spoken about this, that our clients are getting younger and younger.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not, they don't know what this is, but they don't want it. I mean, I had a client that was 25 the other day, and she's like, nope, I'm not in the flow. I don't know what this is, but I think you can help me.
Wow.
I think it's amazing.
It is amazing. For me, it's hope. It's really hope that we don't have to continue the same patterns and expectations. So there's no doubt that you're very passionate about this work. I can feel it. There's no doubt that you're the epitome of getting the hell out of the way and letting it come through you, not from you. And I feel like your whole purpose for doing this is, I really want to help. I want to help the individual. So how can people find you, or what do you offer for services? Because I know you do the family constellation therapy, but what else could you offer to folks that might be interested in working with you?
Well, I also do journey work. So sometimes family constellation isn't necessarily about past lives. It can come up in our discussion and our intake, but it's not necessarily healing past lives. So in my journey work, I can most definitely have a quick conversation with you, what's going on, and then I journey on your behalf to see what needs to heal. And I meet up with your spirit team and your guides, and we heal the past life issues. Then I record everything and send you an email transcript of everything that happened. So if you have any questions, we can touch base again. Usually that's a pretty big shift. I have a great team on the spirit world that helps me do that work. I can also do it with you. So if you would like to be a little more empowered in the moment, I can walk you through the process of going back to that past life and getting your power back and shifting that memory.
So how is that different from doing a regression? Because I think it goes to the same place personally.
I think so too. You're just have more awareness. Like
Mhm.
we're talking and I'm asking you to explain exactly what you're seeing. And then if the client gets stuck, I step in and heal the moment for you. Because sometimes
Beautiful.
it can get a little overwhelming. We'll see if spirit leads us to another past life, but usually one is enough. It can be like they think they're making it up, but
Mhm.
they're not. They're really taking control of the situation. And then they'll see the shift. They're like, okay, so my relationship is changed now. The conflict has changed. And it's usually from a past life where something happened and then you carried that trauma forward to this life.
There's a level of insight that comes when it's a strong connection
Mhm.
that allows us to see it from a different perspective, or to change the way we've always internalized something or believed it to be true. And we might see that there's a reason, but it also is allowing, so that the past life, the healing, all of that. So my question was, do people come with an intention that they would set before you would do the journey work?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, beautiful.
What is going on? I really don't have a whole lot of interest in who are my guides and can you tell me who they are?
Mhm.
My purpose is to heal. So what's going on in your life that we need to work on? And then if your guides choose to come forward and to give a name or a description of that sort, I'd be happy to pass that along, but that's not my intention of the work I do.
And I think that's really important. And my own personal aside on guides, angels, beings, it's very personal to the person. It's a very unique connection because of that other part of my brain. It's not as evidential. It's pretty subjective. As I could say, oh, your guide is so and so, and this is, but you have to go with the feel on it. You have to. So if you're working with someone and you've done this journey work and someone presents and it feels like the right time. But I love that you just said, please don't get in touch and say, who's my guide? Where am I going? Yeah, that's
I'm just not the right healer for you. There's plenty out there who
Yes. And see, that's again, you just mentioned, I'm not your person, but if this resonates, give it a shot and see, because it's time to heal. It's time to release energetically, personally, all of these things. And what I love is this can go in any direction. This could go in relationships. This could go with holding yourself back professionally. This could go with phobias or fears or things that you just can't seem to shake in order to live a fuller life now. So the journey work individually or together with the person, and the family constellation therapy, which would probably be a longer term process.
It can be. I would be honest to say 3 sessions can really do a nice whole picture healing. But even if you just do it once, you're going to feel a shift. I mean, I did one, and then it was probably a good 7 months before I did another. And I didn't think I needed another, but it was very interesting what showed up. So I think just depending on your issue, I would plan anywhere from 1 to 3 sessions.
Beautiful.
For that. And then I also do a clarity conversation. Sometimes people just need to talk it out and vent, and we can do that. But I also bring in guidance from your spirit guides, from whatever ancestors show up. So our intention is you can vent, but we're going to get, by the end of our conversation, we need you to let it go. So you can be in a more open, aware, have more clarity kind of vibration by the end of the conversation. It's just not a bitch session. Like
So it's a collaborative experience between you, the person, and spirit, and that you all come together and say, let's shine a light on this once and for all. Mm-hmm. These are your choices. This is what you can do. Boom, we're done.
Yep.
Or we're going to at least help you find what that is. It's about being held against your will, held hostage with this old stuff that we don't want to hold anymore.
And it's rising up for a reason, because who knows what's next? Like, spirit has a plan. We just really haven't been shown it yet. We know right now we need to let go of this trauma, because there's something good coming.
I agree. And I love that for a heavy topic, for a very deep topic, you bring a level of hope and joy and lightness to it, truly, which is beautiful, because I think that that's what this is for you is, okay, enough is enough. Yes, we all have it. Do you want to keep it, or do you want to do something about it? You're very true. I mean, everything that you're hearing, Julie, this is who she is. Whether you talk to her today or tomorrow or 2 weeks from now, she's very, very true. And I respect that so very much, because I think if you're worried about, oh, it's going to be airy-fairy or it's not going to be specific to me, that's not the case with Julie, not at all. So where can people find you?
So my website is intuitivehealingbyjulie.com. And my email is intuitivehealingbyjulie@gmail.com.
Beautiful. And do you have any social media presence that people could follow you on?
I just did an Instagram under the same title. No, I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to be doing with it, but I did start one because of all these younger people in my life told me I have to.
Yes, it's baby steps. Yes. Believe me, that's the same thing. Just be true. You're on the right track. This is wonderful. And thank you. Thank you so much for doing this with me today, because even just this short amount of time we've been talking, I can feel that what you're doing is coming from a place of love and collaborative work with spirit. So thank you for shining your light so beautifully.
Thank you, Denise. I appreciate this so much.
You're welcome. And truly, if what Julie has been saying has resonated with you, please reach out to her. She's the real deal. And again, remember that you have something to share with the world. And if we all do this together, it is going to make a difference. So shine your light and please take care.